Welcome. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery. Enabling people to feel more emotionally calm and mentally balanced. Today is World Mental Health Day, and I wanted to share with you my view of mental health. And it comes under my signature program, Be More You, developed from a book I wrote a couple of years ago, Midlife is Not a Crisis, Rediscover Your Drive and Reclaim Your Happiness. This book was primarily about giving people the understanding of how they've ended up where they are and why they are not to blame. But once you understand it, you do become responsible. And within the book, there are a number of tools and techniques to help yourself through the difficult times that we're all facing right now. And let's be honest, everybody's feeling something. Whether it's anxiety over the actual virus itself, perhaps losing a job, paying the bills. Maybe it's worrying about how you're going to cope over the next, 3 to 4 months where we may go through another lockdown. Perhaps you're struggling with working from home or having to go into the office, struggling with your colleagues because it's been difficult for you to transform, change, change over to a new way of working that's not your way of working. I know a lot of people, men and women, who are struggling with the isolation. So you are not alone. And all I want to do today is just talk very broadly about my Be More You approach to emotional and mental health. So thank you for listening in. By the end of this webinar, I want to be in a position where I'll have explained a little bit more about my Be More You approach and how mental health has different meanings to different people, but it's also a stigma still, isn't it? And I can remember back in the 80s it being very much still a stigma because we hadn't long been away from institutionalizing people who they thought had mental health issues and they just couldn't cope with them. I want to just put your mind at rest there. For the majority of you watching this, you're not anywhere near that. You're not heading towards that. What you're doing is having a bit of a crisis of confidence, a bit of a what am I doing? Who am I? Sort of scenario going on. What is the point? It's okay. It's about what you do with it that's important. And I want to share with you a technique that is readily available out on the web that you can do for yourself. So my empowerment model, I'm running free webinars once a month where I talk in more detail around this. But I want to take it down to at least the mental level because that's what this is all about. Very often when clients come to see me, it's because something has been going on for a while. They've known about it and they thought they could cope or they could ignore it or that they'll, it'll just get better. It'll be fine. This has to happen and then we'll be good. I'm talking about happiness this month in my Facebook page and in my Facebook group. And the interesting thing is that invariably we're waiting to be happy. When I get this, I'll be happy. When that finishes, I'll be happy. When that happens, I'll be happy. We can choose what's going on right now and how we feel. And whilst it's harder to apply to mental health, it is possible to make those changes. So whatever you're experiencing in your outside world is never where the problem is. So very often clients have come to me and they've talked about, the relationship's not working, I'll find another one. I'm not happy in my job, I'll find another one. I'm, unfit, overweight, I'll go to the gym. It's all about outside of them, and it's not there that the problem is. very often this is a harder pill to sort of swallow, but it's our behaviors and habits that contribute to our world that are part of the problem. So we will have led ourselves to the point where we're experiencing this challenge outside. And of course, the problem is we don't realize it, because whilst we know the obvious ones, smoking, drinking, overeating, maybe some others that go on, procrastination, my favorite, it's interesting that we don't always know all of the behaviors that we do or all of the habits that go on. And it's really important too, so that you can see what you can change easily. But it's not just there that the problem is, it's our thought process. And our thoughts are so fundamental to the way we behave, to the way we experience our world. You've very often heard, particularly in the law of attraction, how the way we think can change our vibrational level to bring in what we want to have in our world. If only it were that simple. There's way more to it than that. And if you ever want to find out more about my thoughts on that, come along to the Empowerment Model webinar or reach out to me and I'll explain more. But the thoughts themselves are patterns of behavior and habits. So we think in certain ways all the time, and we have no idea that we do it. So for some people, they're very positive, whilst for others, they are perceived as negative. Let me tell you, neither is good. You need a balance of both in order to be successful. For some people, they're a just-in-time person or always late. Others are prompt or early. It's a way of thinking that they've learned to live their life in a way that works for them. And it's not wrong. The question is it right for right now? You'll notice there's another 2 layers there. If you want to find out more about those, please do join me on my Empowerment Model webinar. It's free, and I take you through this and a little bit more. So what this webinar is really about is your mental health spectrum. I want you to understand that there is an infinitesimal spectrum. It's almost quantumish in its approach, because as soon as you say, for argument's sake, between poor and potential ideal, that you're halfway there, well, what if that halfway mark has layers within it, so that you're looking at it and that that one part on this line is actually made up of another whole load of little bits in it, small steps that you can take to get onto the next point and so forth. And it's different for everyone, because we are unique. We are unique biochemically, electrochemically, biologically, in all ways. We are different to everybody else on this planet. That's infinitesimal. Billions of us on the planet, and there are still new people being born with different biology, different ways of being. So I want you to know, first of all, that there is a spectrum, and that the one end of the spectrum is poor mental health. So these are the people who have suffered lifelong depression, perhaps, have experienced the more medical side of mental health, like bipolar and some of the others that are really need help. But the other end of the spectrum is overload, where people are this bipolar perhaps could works both ends of the spectrum because of the very nature of what it is. The other end of the spectrum is not good either. People who are generally overly positive can be very draining, just as much as the person who's depressed. And actually, my question to them would be, what is it they're trying to ignore, avoid, park away? So our potential ideal for mental health, and arguably every time I say mental health, think emotional health, is in the middle somewhere. And the spectrum is actually bigger than that line. I mean, it could be, the 80-20 rule, it could be 20% of mental health that we want to achieve. That's really where we want to be. And when we're not there, it's okay. You might be just over the line towards one end or the other. It's okay. All we're looking at there is that you are needing to learn something from what's going on for you. It's about you recognizing that this is just a message for you, because that's exactly what's going on. Notice your thoughts, notice your behaviors, because they are clues that will let you know whether something's working for you or it isn't. So instead of pretending that everything's all right, not just to those around you, but to yourself, ask yourself an honest question. Am I okay? If you get a yes, marvelous. And if not, then there's some questions for you to explore further. Mental health is not about being weak. There's some real strength that comes from recognizing the areas of thoughts that are not working for you, the overthinking, the critical thinking, the thinking that takes you down into sort of spirals or potholes so that you suddenly have lost your way. And it's okay. The word mental, certainly for my generation, will still have been tarnished by the old institutional way we dealt with people in the previous century. Everybody has an opportunity to grow and develop, to become even better than where they are, with love and attention, kindness. So it's not the old stigma and the curse that mental health used to be. Right now, we need to be open to recognizing that there are different levels, that some people just need a bit more help than others because of what they've experienced, how they've learnt, where they've come from. And yes, medically, people do need some medicine to help. All I'm saying is that sometimes some people don't want medicine, they want to try something else. Or maybe they want medicine and still want to try something else. Do always talk to your GP, because it's important that you make sure that you're doing the right thing for you. Mental health isn't a choice. I said earlier that we have been programmed, indoctrinated almost into our way of being, taught and learnt that these are the ways that we need to be. And they may have been right for you as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult stepping out into the world, but are they right for you right now? Some of those old ways of being, possibly not. And the interesting thing is, half the time people don't even know that what they've got going on. So if you're a procrastinator like me, did you realize that there are many different reasons we procrastinate, and that actually there may be just one of those that's causing you the biggest issue? Interesting. Mental health is not anything to be ashamed of. Fortunately for us, we are getting a lot more people speaking up and out about it. Prince Harry, and we've just recently had Freddie Flintoff, I think, and Joe Wicks, all talking about their own mental health journeys. It's so true. We've all got it, remember. It's a spectrum that we're on. And sometimes we stray one way or another into the territory that says, hello, we've got something to work on. Mental health is not an excuse for not doing something. Very often people will sit behind, where they're feeling or what they're doing, and not take responsibility for the way they are. And I get it. They're not aware that they've got control, because they've got so far down the line. They suddenly realize that, that there's nothing they can do. But it's not true. So if that's you, make sure you're getting the help you need, either via your GP or reaching out to counsellors. If it's something that you've only been experiencing for a short while, a year or two, maybe 3 or 4, then reach out to somebody like me, because the chances are it's been triggered by an event or several events, an accumulation of events. We can help you work through it, get out the other side. I'm not saying it's a cure, because the tendency would have always been there. But what it is it can make you more aware and take back better control. How awesome would that be? Knowing you can do something to help yourself. And it is not the destination. If you are depressed, whether it's been a lifelong depression or just, for a few years or whatever, this isn't your life. You do not have to stay there. What you have to do is start to look for the solutions that are right for you. And one of the techniques I'm going to share with you today can be done by anyone, and it can help. So once you've seen your GP, you've got your medication if you need it, and if you're not don't need it, then there's other ways you can help yourself. So many different ways. That is where I work. So it's interesting. I was thinking about this for some of my social media. You always get your car serviced, don't you? There's a legal requirement for you to make sure that the tires are at the right inflation and that they're not worn. There's a legal requirement for you to have a MOT. You want to make sure you pass that, so there'll be a service involved where they change the oil, replace the spark plugs, or whatever it is that they change these days. Showing my age, perhaps. Why not for yourself? Why not for your emotional and mental self? A bit of a service and a tuning up to replace that old oil, to change the spark plugs, to make sure that your tires are inflated properly and that your tread is good. All sort of ways that we can help at a mental and emotional level. And I thought about computers. If you're more computer orientated, you wouldn't be very happy when your computer starts to go slower and slower and slower, would you? And you upload an app and actually it's not working properly, or something else starts to be faulty, or you find you run out of space on your computer. You'll clear out the trash can, you'll clear out your files, you'll tidy up those things that are not working together. That's what we do as cognitive hypnotherapists and coaches and NLP practitioners and counselors. We're looking to help you sort out those parts of your mind that are just not helpful anymore, those old learnings that just don't work for you anymore. We're looking to tune up things that do work and get you to focus on those much more, because they're the things you want. And for some of us, we can put in new programs that you want, or you put them in, we just facilitate you. And you have a holiday, although this year possibly not so much, hence the splitting of this into two words, holly day. But you could do that for your mind and your emotions. How amazing would that be? I'm running weekly mind spa meditation systems so that you can just do that. Take 30 to 40 minutes out every week for you to just be, to just allow yourself to recognize the difference between your daily life and your relaxed self. How amazing would that be? You invest in these things all the time. It's about time you thought about you. So the technique I wanted to tell you about is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. I very often refer people to a gentleman on YouTube who's got a whole wealth of different YouTubes out there that I love, positive and negative. So even if you've got to the end of this and you think, oh, yeah, no, I haven't got anything to fix, that's fine. Why not put some good stuff in as well? I love it. And it works at all levels. So not just your behavioral side or your thought side, but you'll find others in there as well. And the technique is really simple. So I'm just going to show you once. Basically, you tap on the side of your hand and you say the problem. So I'll keep it generic, even though I've got this problem. And you can tap along with me, and you can do the work yourself, and you can put in your mind whatever your problem is. Or if you don't know what it is, just go with it. I can love, honor, and respect myself. So you then say, it's okay, basically. I'm all right being me. Even though I've got this problem, I know I'm okay. Even though I don't really understand what this problem is about, I know I'm ready to do something about it. So you do that 3 times, and you can tap on either side. It really makes no difference. And I want you to rate yourself out of 10, with 10 being the worst it can be and 0, not so much. It makes no difference, whatever it is. Somewhere in there, the first number that comes into your head is usually the right one. So no overthinking it. So if I went number, the number that comes into your head, that's the one to go with, between 0 and 10. And then what happens is we start to tap around the body, well, around the head. It's like a question mark and comes down here. And you'll notice there's 2 little bones here. And it's probably just a little bit below that. If you put 2 fingers there, you're probably in about the right space. And then for ladies, it's where your bra strap usually is, but for guys, where your bra strap might have been. So, but, you know, it's probably at least a hand's width down from under your arm. And then we'll tap the head. That's usually, for me, the end of the process. Different people, different practitioners practice in different ways. There is no right and wrong. So you cannot get this wrong. That's the beauty of this. You cannot get it wrong. How awesome is that? So what I want you to do is to tap along with me, and I'll take you through the different points. I'll do the first one explaining where we are, and then perhaps if you just need to watch, that's fine. And then on the second round, tap along with me just so that you can see a change, or straight away, this problem that I have. It's been getting me down. It's the side of the eye, under the eye. This problem is causing me problems. So there. And now under the nose and above the lip. I don't know what to do about it. Under the lip and on the chin, really beginning to cause me some problems. Down below, feeling lost. Under the arm, I don't know what to do. At the top of the head, this problem. Top of the eye, it's been around for a while. Side of the eye, maybe I've been ignoring it, pretending it's not there, hoping it will get better. Under the eye, but it's not changing. Under the nose, I don't know what to do about it. Under the lip, on the chin, it's making me feel the way I feel right now. And I can feel it right now. Down below, just under the 2 bones there. These feelings, no matter where I feel them, in my head, my heart, or my gut, or all 3, lets me know there's something to change. Under the arm, ready to let it go now. On top of the head, ready to be different. I'm going to do one more round. And I am ready for something to change. Top of the eye, side of the eye. I'm ready to learn what I've got to learn to help me move through this easily, effortlessly, and with love. Under the eye, I'm ready to change and release whatever this is that I've got going on. Under the nose, these old feelings I'm ready to release and let go. Under the lip, ready now to begin to notice already I'm feeling a bit calmer. Maybe only a little bit. But that's really important as I let go. Because what that tells me is that it's possible now to change and be different. Take a nice deep breath in. Release. Breathe in. Release. And I just want you to notice how you feel. Does it feel a little bit different or a lot different? And you can do this as often as you like. I'm doing it every day at the moment. I've got some stuff going on, which is not just mine, as it turns out, but it's helping me work through some anger issues. I've always been, a procrastinator, which led me to having challenges around, impatience with what's going on around me, etc. But it's changed since lockdown, and I'm a bit angry about it. So I need to work through that. So I'm doing it every day, and you can do this too. And you can do this in private. But if you're in a meeting or you're in a public space, just tap somewhere on your hand. Very often there are some EFT ones where you can tap on your fingers, but just tap. Nobody needs to know what you're doing. And just, in your mind's eye, just focus on the tapping. And in my webinar, I explain why it's so important to this can make such a difference. But I think it's important for you to know you can take this control over how you're feeling more and more. And if you did this every day or once a week, then you would begin to find that things could improve for you. So I hope this has been useful for you. My name is Kim Searle, and these are my contact details. I am running Be More You programs. I've got one coming up at the end of this month. I do work with people on different areas of life. So if you've got something you're ignoring, book now for a free 30-minute call. It costs nothing, but it can be really, really valuable. And check out Brad Yates on YouTube. He's the one who does all the different tappings. I think I might start that trend myself. So thank you so much if you've listened to this point. I really appreciate your time. Do reach out, drop me a note. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business. I'm all over the place. Please do get in touch. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery, creating more emotional calm and mental balance. Wishing you well. Take care.